wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
There's plenty of things wrong with this guy.
Feliz Navidad.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our very last football show for the 2012 season. Brent wanted to give a little shout out to some forum members.
Alright, every year I do this, every year he mocks me, but from the bottom of my heart and all of FST, we thank you. We're no one here without our amazing community in our forums. Everybody that watches us on YouTube. We give some right answers sometimes, and you let us know if it's not right. But either way, you're coming back. We love you guys. We appreciate everything. We put a lot of hard work, a lot of time and effort, and the guys in the forums that have been extremely busy this year. Tiger Blood, all of the FST experts, The Sid, Ghetto Football, Colossus, Bigglesworth, J-Roo, Volcane, Sfara3958, Robot Food, K Diddy, Gingerbeard, and Vlad Vlad. I've been having some eggnog. So all of that we do thank you from the bottom of our heart. We appreciate it. We're nothing without our amazing community. Best community out there. Alright, Dustin, we got some forum questions. I'm gonna ask you the first one, that's okay.
Yes, you are gonna ask me.
Feliz Navidad. And the first one comes from Dave B. He's got a QB question for the Grinch over here. He says he hates all Christmas songs. How terrible is that? He wants to know, Andy Dalton at Pittsburgh, Eli Manning at Baltimore, or Palmer at Carolina. Who should he be starting to win his championship?
Dalton's too scary against Pittsburgh. It's a big game for them, but Pittsburgh's pass D, you don't really want to mess with that. And I know, because I remember this post you mentioned, and it's very true, Eli, bang or bust, but do you really want to go with Carson Palmer and put your faith in Carson? I know it's not any better really putting it in Eli, but you got to go with Eli and his weapons that he has out there, you know, with Nix and Cruz. I mean, the weapons that he has are much better. Baltimore's nothing what they used to be on defense. You got to go Eli here. I know it's scary, but he has by far the biggest upside, and he's safer than Carson. I know why you asked that question.
Good luck.
All right, the next one comes from J. Daugust, 1983. This is a flex question in a .5 PPR league. We got Chris Johnson at Green Bay, Danny Amendola at Tampa Bay, Darren Sproles at Dallas. 50-50 split right now for Chris Johnson and Amendola.
I love Danny Amendola. You know I love my Danny boy. But I'm going to go with Chris Johnson here. As the CEO once said many moons ago, it only takes one for Chris Johnson. He might be terrible, like on Monday night. He was terrible the entire game. He had one monster run that got you a 94-yard touchdown. I'm just going to say in your championship, go with the big upside of Chris Johnson right here. That's the way that I would lean. I wouldn't play it safe. I'd push all in, and hopefully Chris Johnson breaks another one for a big touchdown.
And this is the bet of the week.
Bet of the week!
Because I'm saying Amendola, he has a juicy matchup. He found the end zone last week. He looks to be healthy. Sam Bradford's playing pretty well. I think Amendola honestly has just as big of an upside as Chris Johnson, and he's safer because he's a guaranteed 10-point play if he can stay healthy. So
he's not necessarily safer, but go ahead.
But that's, you know what I mean, if he can stay on the field. But Amendola, I think he's a safer play, and he has just a good.
Who's got a higher ceiling?
I think they have similar, and
who has a little bit higher?
I'm saying they are the same. I'm not gonna give it to you. They're the same.
Ghetto Football's got a question. It's a tight end question.
And yes, go.
And I'm going to ask you this
yes,
one. That's what we had. We talked about this before the show. We do this for 16 weeks. You figure he'd understand how this works by now. Jeez. All right, tight end, like I said, Olsen versus the Raiders and Pitta versus the Giants. Who you starting, Dustin?
I'm not giving you any more eggnog, that's for sure. Dennis Pitta's been playing too great as of late. I know he kind of really trailed off there in the middle of the year, but he's got a solid matchup. And the thing that scares me with the Carolina Panthers against Oakland, I'm not sure the Panthers are gonna have to pass that entire game. Oakland has just looked awful. I look for Carolina to put some points on the board. I think Pitta, that could be more of a closer game. I think they're gonna be throwing the entire game, and Pitta has just looked great lately, so I'm leaning towards him. Sleeper and bust time. My sleeper, I'm going DeAngelo Williams. And now I know, yes, he's been playing a lot better. He might not be, no crap, he's a good sleeper right now. But, this is if Jonathan Stewart is out again. But he has a great matchup against Oakland. But here's why I'm calling him a sleeper, because I'm going to go out on a limb. And if Jonathan Stewart misses, I think DeAngelo Williams is a guaranteed flex spot. He should be in your lineup in a flex. And I think he's even borderline RB2. He's looked great. Seems like they finally gotten that running game going. I like his chances in that Oakland game. My bust is going to be Arizona's defense going up against Chicago, and here's why I'm saying it. Now, I know Arizona's been looking pretty good lately. They looked good last week against Detroit. And
stupid Stafford.
And Cutler, obviously he can, pad the stats for any defense that's playing against him with his poor decisions. But here's why I don't like him, because Chicago should be able to win that game with defense and running the ball. So Cutler, I only expect to be throwing a lot in the first half. So if they don't get their pick six then, or the sacks that they need for your fantasy team, you might not get them. And I think Chicago will be able to put some points up against them. So if you have better options, I'm staying away from Arizona's D this week.
All right, quick little note. Before we do what forum questions we're going to answer, we pick our sleepers and busts. My sleeper, surprisingly enough, was Danny Amendola.
He loves him.
I do love Danny Amendola. I love the guy. For all the reasons Dustin, he's playing Tampa Bay. They are god-awful against the pass. They're obviously clearly going to address that in the offseason. But I love Danny Boy for that reason. I just don't like him as much as CJ2K. That's all. I do think he's a great start. My bust, and he's probably a must-start at this point because Kaepernick loves him, is Crabtree. But he's playing Seattle, and I truly believe Seattle is going to be... First of all, other than the Skins, them and the Skins are probably the two hottest teams in the NFL right now. I think Seattle's going to roll coverage over. I think Crabtree's going to see a very tight double coverage for one of the first times in his career. I don't know if he's going to be able to overcome that. But like I said, he's been playing so great. He's probably the reason you got into the finals. If you have to start him, I understand. But I'm just a little worried about him, that's all.
So Amendola, where do you have Chris Johnson as his ceiling this week?
Johnson?
Yeah.
I got Johnson ceiling $160, 2 touchdowns.
He hasn't done that all year.
He's had over 30 points like 3 times this year.
I don't know.
He's not the ceiling of Amendola, that's all I'm saying.
He's had 2 touchdowns.
He's had over 30 points. Twice, I believe.
Amendola, just as big an upside.
He's my sleeper. I clearly like him.
We're looking at the game log after this. I know he's had big games.
I bet he's had 30 points at least twice.
We'll see.
You want to know the side bet of that?
No, because I want to look at it.
Because I'm going to be right.
Let's move
like all the other bets.
Mike's picks. His dad, Phillip Rivers. He's looked awful. That offense was pathetic last week. Denario Alexander, not pretty. Going up against Jets defense, not necessarily the best matchup for Rivers. Stay away from him if you can. His sleeper, Sam Bradford. This is a guy that probably would want to start over Rivers if you had a choice between the two. Bradford, we've been talking about Amendola a lot. He's the guy that throws it to Amendola. Same reasons. Playing Tampa Bay, they should be able to move the ball. They should have decent success this week against that terrible pass D. So that'll wrap up the season for us.
Good luck. Good luck.
Hopefully y'all are still alive.
We want FST people to win.
And if for whatever reason you do play Week 17, we will still be around in the forums, but
no video.
We will not be making it.
Change that for next year. Good luck to all FST. We want y'all to win. Love our community. Bottom of my heart again. Thank you so much. And of course, he caught it to finish the season. Boom.